Hello, my friends. How are you? Thank you for hanging out. I'm actually just getting something set up. I haven't done anything yet with this, so let me... Okay, there we go. Edit my page. Posts. If I do a live stream, YouTube, use YouTube Live. To stream, you need a YouTube account that has live stream enabled. Has verified text message. Verified text message. Phone has a Google approved account. Set up my live stream account. There it is. Ha. Okay, required. Let's get this going. Hello. Okay, but how do I go? Can I just... Huh? Scheduled. But can't I just publish it? Publish now. Publish right now. Okay, we need to... So let me show you what I'm working on here so you can see. So I just published this there. Now, what I also wanted to do was... Let me bring this over. Here's what I've been using for my automation. I just realized you probably can't hear. Okay, let's go to vMix. Now I want to add input. There we go. Okay. Now we've got some tunes going. We got some music. So what I've been doing is I've been using Integromat, and I have a complicated setup here where I'm stringing together a series of Google Sheets. I'm also using a bunch of other integrations. This one here is for the ManyChat show notes. I've had a whole bunch of issues with these. Oh, actually, no, what are these? MySLQ, EverWebinar, Abra, Zendesk, Facebook Messenger, Get Sender Details. That one sounds interesting. ClickFunnels. Okay, I'll get into these later. But yeah, here's the issues I was having. And it happened just as I was going live on my last show, and I didn't notice it until later. I went to go, because in my setup in here through this flow, what I'm doing is I have a Google Sheet.
My apologies, I don't understand.
Oh, sorry, Google. I have a Google Sheet set up where this looks crazy, but I'll click on, I have a Google form set up, and the form is attached to a Google Sheet. And then that sheet fills up a row. And then I have this come in and then watch when the sheet is updated. When new data comes in, I have it chronologically go in, and I didn't come up with this till after I started the month. And what I'm doing is I'm taking that month. Oh, actually, no, you can't even see this. Hold on. Sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and the Google Sheet. Don't want to wake up. Okay, so let me close that. I'll fill out a form, and then that form will link to the spreadsheet, and then that spreadsheet feeds in. And when that fills up a row, and then I'll answer and the form it's a series of questions. Like what's the blog title gonna be? And then I'll use the same blog title for the Facebook Live show title. And then I'll use that also on Instagram. And what happens then is I take, there's multiple workbooks or Google Sheets, and what I'm doing is I'm creating an air gap, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to have it all under one. So I'm harvesting data under one, so that's just the funnel to fill in what the show topics, the ideas, the quotes, because they're only 3-liners. They're only like a paragraph, not even the shows. And what I end up doing then is I take that one sheet, and as soon as that's updated, I have a series of other flows that Integromat, and that's this thing over here, that Integromat helps me out with. And it gathers the data, and then I only pull out certain pieces of information. And then as that data reads, it goes and updates other sheets, but it updates it into what I call a master content. So while there's small pockets of data that exist, it all gets funneled into one master sheet. And so when I want to go look, what's the state that I have set up? What's the, how many days ahead am I? Currently right now I'm on like today, so I got to get today's up and running. but I've got a couple days off that are coming up that I can buckle down. But I ran into an issue where the flow got broken and I wasn't able to run any of the other sheets because the main funnel wasn't feeding into it. And so since nothing was feeding in, nothing was pushing out. And then I was about to go live, and then sure enough, nothing was there. It was like sitting at a blank screen. Because in one of the flows, like this is just one of them. Here, I'll show you. This is only just one of the flows. And another flow that I have is this one. And this one reads from the spreadsheet, but I have it send an email. But the email that it's sending is, it's sent to WordPress. And then with WordPress, here I'll show you, I customize, oh sorry, I clipped there. So on the WordPress, it goes and I put in, and here you can see, I don't know if you can read that. Let me try and zoom in there. So here you can see I've got the blog title is the subject line. So it's reading from the spreadsheet that title, and then I'm customizing everything else here. I put in HTML text, I put in the tags, and these are all pre-built, and then the variables are the green ones. So the title of the blog is the blog title. Status, I have it saved to draft, publicized to Facebook. Excerpt, and then so this is where I have the quote, and then I have the note, and the note is actually the show notes. Here I have gratitude of the day, and then the action of the day, and then here I have some HTML text that I have set up, and this is for the string at the bottom. So when you go look at the blog post, there's like, I've got my newest video, I've got how to get a hold of me, that little smiley face picture of me. All of those are saved at the bottom, almost like an email signature. But this is what I have here. And this is what I copied and pasted from I set it up for the podcast. And then with the podcast, I copied that HTML code and I put it into this email. And then when the blog post when WordPress receives that email, it follows that instructions, and then it publishes that to a draft. Originally I had it set to publish like live, but then I discovered there was always something that didn't work, because something I didn't factor into my workflow was there's something called Gutenberg. Like it, let me switch back to the main cat. There's something called Gutenberg where it's taking the HTML and it's changing the format. And so there's one word block that doesn't work. And the one word block is the one I want. It's like the most important out of all of them. And then what I have it do is now I appreciate how complex it is, but it takes my newest YouTube video and because it rotates. As more YouTube videos come online, it rotates through them. So as I click publish on YouTube, this link stays constant, but that constant link goes and changes to the newest video. So then if you go on any of my blog posts, you'll see there's a smiley face picture of me, yes, but then there's like my newest video. And when you click on that link, it brings you to YouTube, but it doesn't just bring you to that video, it brings you to the YouTube playlist that video is in, and then it's playing that video. So I always make it a constant thought in my head because another thing I noticed is my number one, well, not my number one, but like my highest watch time videos are the 1 minute videos, but I have like 25 of them. So when you watch them, it's like the daisy chain after one another. So that brings me in a lot of watch time, just those 1 minute videos, because those are the exact same videos that I upload to Instagram, because Instagram can only have 1 minute videos. That was a side challenge for me to get over, because I was focused on making long form content for so long. And admittedly, the long form content got me a lot of like watch time, but the engagement, the social engagement was really low. The hearts, the stars, the subscribes. So I decided to try something different, make short form content and break it apart and make it available everywhere. And that's where this comes in. This is where I'm setting up a different type of challenge for myself, where I was spending as more layers of complexity were introduced, I wanted to streamline everything. I wanted to set it up so that I could just be turnkey ready. Excuse me. And then that's when I was like, I need some help. So I used something called TubeBuddy for Facebook or for YouTube. And then I used Integromat to help run all the backend stuff. And Integromat has helped save me a lot of time. And TubeBuddy has saved me so much. They're both worth it, like they're paid. So I'm paying for this out of my own pocket to get these things. And you know, it's $20 here, $10 there, so it's not that much. I don't have to pay anything for Instagram or for Facebook. But it's the amount of time it takes me to manually go and update these things will take me forever. So I made a list of all the things that I do often and frequently, and then I started looking at what ways can I reduce the friction. And that's where I came up with, okay, well, if I turn the blog post into a form, I can't publish from the form right to the blog post, so I'll need to use, and that's where Google the Sheets comes in. So then once the sheet has been updated, the other flows will take over, including one of those blog post ones. And that's a separate, the blog post flow is separate than the updating flow, because I wanted to categorize them in the event of something going wrong. I wanted to be able to isolate it down to the issue. I was learning about ManyChat, the Facebook Messenger bot. That's another thing I've got set up, because this sheet, the master one, it feeds into, well, all the other sheets feed into the master one, but the ManyChat bot I have will go and it reads the same spreadsheet, but I have it set so when I go live, I also use ManyChat. Yes, I just said that. So in ManyChat, I have a flow so that when somebody queries to have the show notes, it triggers a request for Integromat. It reaches into Integromat and then asks, okay, what do you have for me? And Integromat will then go pick up that request, go into the flow, and the flow I have is with the Google Sheets. And so what happens then is the flow runs from ManyChat, touches Integromat, and Integromat then dips in and it grabs that day's show notes. Now it knows it's that day because in ManyChat I set the day, and I always set it to being today's date. So once it runs, once the guest or whoever, once there's a request to get the show notes, it dips in to ManyChat just reaches into Integromat and says, hey, we have a request. Integromat goes into Google, grabs the sheet, and then it grabs the notes, and then it feeds it as a response into Integromat, or ManyChat, sorry. So it's a call and response, and what I'm really enjoying is I have it all harvested inside one. I could have alternatively loaded everything into ManyChat. But the nervous part of me doesn't want to invest everything into like one body. It doesn't make sense to copy and paste everything for every day. My goal is to go live every day for 365 days. I haven't publicly said that. I just said we're going to talk about the 12 steps over the next 12 months. I gave myself that leeway, but I'm committed to be able to get shows out there, because I don't know if you've ever seen Evan Carmichael on YouTube. He goes live all the time, or he has shows, content coming out all the time. He has this email series, and the email series it's like 254 days of content he'll deliver to you every day for 254 days. And then that's what got me thinking. I was like, I don't have an email list, but I do have a ManyChat list. I have people that I could deliver content to consistently, but I don't have 254 shows. And that's when I was like, I'll bet you I could do like mini shows. And then I thought, what I could do with the mini shows is I could make a list of all of my content, and I can make it into bite size. And that bite size, I can make it deliverable. I could send it to you on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. I could put it anywhere you want to be. So what happens then is the flow. I fill out the form, it goes to the spreadsheet, and then from there it gets scattered across other spreadsheets. When somebody watches a YouTube live or a Facebook live or YouTube live, whatever one, it doesn't matter, and they go to the link, I tell them to visit the link here. It's let me see, I think I have it here. When I tell people to go to this link, notes in the comments if you're watching on Facebook, or go to the link outstanding.video/notes anywhere else, and it will send you a Facebook Messenger like that day's notes, and it follows that flow I just described. So I have it all hyperlinked together, which is really awesome. I could have made it separate, like isolated it out. But my fear is like, what happens if I leave ManyChat one day? I'll have so much invested into it. Because the actual flow I'm using in ManyChat is not that big. It's not that long. So as a result of me doing it this way, it's probably not the most efficient, but it keeps me safeguarded against having to worry about, I don't know, like in the event of the world ending. The world's not going to end, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I don't want to have to worry about an exit strategy. So when the world ends, when I want to give this up, or let's say I wanted to future-proof this and I wanted to convert this into an email series, I would need to go into ManyChat and pull all the data out, and I don't want to do that. So that's where I'm storing all the data on the back end inside Google Sheets. And then I have different air gaps in Google so that it doesn't, there's no way that it's gonna, one file can't get corrupted or something is locked or what have you. And then just to be safe, I take that exact same content and I publish it on the WordPress blog. And then for the WordPress blog, I take that and I have it say publish to a draft. And I don't run the draft. Here, I'll show you. Let me merge over here. So I publish the draft. Yeah, it publishes to a draft here. But then I have another flow. And I have, oh, here it is. Now this one looks crazy, but it's not really crazy. This one I use, and it says, watch when there's a new feed. And of course, I point that to my blog. And then from the blog, I have it go to this router, and it just splits it from here. And by splitting it, I have it go to a Google Calendar, which is my public calendar for the show. If you go to the blog and the website, you'll see there's a content calendar. So as soon as I've published to my blog, once I publish to my blog, an update to the calendar on my Google Calendar will say there's a blog posted. And then inside that Google Calendar, it goes and it puts the start date, the end date, the title, the summary, the URL, and sure enough, a link to the newest video that video was about, that blog was about. So then this always keeps the newest video in the link, which it keeps people who follow the blog a way to see what that note was about. And that's only ever going to be the newest video. And then I have a whole other flow here for Rebrandly. And then here I've got the Facebook pages, and then from Facebook pages, post the blog, address, URL, link. Same thing for Twitter. Twitter goes and does. And then I have special unique links to each of them so that they all link to the same thing, the newest video. So I'm putting it out there on my blog, putting it out there on Facebook, putting it out there on the socials. And I do this instead of using the share sheet from WordPress, because WordPress will still let me share, but I don't have any control for what is shared. It's just like a link to the blog, but what I want is an excerpt. What I want is a teaser. What I want is this image with this text next to this link. But when I use the share sheet right from WordPress, none of that works, or none of that lets me have that control. So, and then I have that on a timer so that only runs, I think it's at 9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. This will run every day at 9 a.m. It will check to see if a blog has been posted, trigger this at 9 a.m. and it will only run with the newest update. Similarly with this is for this email thing to be sent out. Let's say I get on a hot streak. Let's say I get like a whole bunch of cool ideas that I want to run, I want to post. I'll go in and do it. Like I'll just go in and fill out those and I'll burn through them. I'll put like 3, 4, 5. At one point I had 2 weeks worth of content planned that far out. And when I was doing the 2-week content, I'd have to manually go in and update everything every single day. And I was spending hours and hours, 2 to 3 hours in some cases, just doing something I prepared for 2 weeks earlier. That's when I was like, no. So this flow will check and see the last time. This is the beauty of Integromat. It will check and see if there's anything that changed. And if there is, it goes in and adds a row. It pulls that row from the spreadsheet, turns it into an email that is going to become a draft in the blog. And that is only run at certain times. It doesn't run all the time. And so what happens then is that air gap allows me to go in and check to see if anything needs to be updated. And with Gutenberg, I have to update it. I have to go in and do it myself. I have to convert the blog to blocks. And then from blocks, I got to go and insert custom HTML. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm not really complaining, but I just have to do that in order for me to get the newest video into that playlist, or to get that video in the playlist to show up. Because thanks to TubeBuddy gives me the URL link, and TubeBuddy looks after that hot swapping in the back end. And then in my workflow, I always have my shortest video as my last video. Excuse me. So on my Facebook Live, excuse me, on my Facebook Live, I'll do like a 10-15 minute show, and then as soon as that show is done, I take out my phone and I do a 1 minute show, but I record it straight to the phone. And with the 10 minute, that's what I upload to YouTube. That's what I upload to Facebook. And when I do that, not that it's bad, not that it's the end of the world, it's just, it's a long video. I mean, my previous season 1 videos were like 40, 50, 60 minutes in some cases, but I'd only go live once a week. Whereas with this season 2, I break it apart. I'm doing 10-minute shows 7 days a week. And when I do it that way, I end up pumping out more shows, yes, because I'm technically putting a 1 minute show out, which is a snippet of the 10-minute show. And with the 10-minute show, 15-minute show, whatever, I put that out there. And that's just a 3-liner. That's like a 1-paragraph topic. And when I do that, that's on the live. But when I go and I do the recording on my phone, that's not live, that's just a recording, but I just recorded the live one. So as soon as I finish that, whip out my phone, go live right from the phone. And then as I do that, I cut that down to a minute. I do the jump cuts. So I'll do the editing in iMovie. And when I do that, I end up making the 1 minute video. I upload that to a website called, before that, I use an app on my phone called Ferrite, Ferrite, and then I feed the audio through Ferrite, clean it up, and when that's nice and clean, I now go ahead and upload that to Headliner.app, and what I do from there is I put the text on the screen, like the little closed captioning. And that's not perfect. That probably takes a little bit of time to edit and update. But when I finish, I'll have a 1 minute video, text on the screen, square, aspect ratio, and that square lets me go and save that. And then to save the files back and forth from my phone to my computer, because Headliner only receives by browser, but not on my phone browser. So I use Google Docs to save in between. So I'll upload it from my phone to the desktop, download it onto my workstation, upload it to Headliner, do the editing in Headliner for the text on the screen that already has the fancy audio, thanks to Ferrite. Then I send that back through the Google Drive onto my phone. That's when I can upload it to Instagram. And then what's really neat with the text on the screen is it gives me the transcription. And what takes to editing is sometimes updating the words. So I'll also take it in that same motion, take the 1 minute, capture all that translation. And with that translation, I now have a transcript. That's what it is. Sorry, I have a transcript of the 1 minute video. And it's that snippet that I then use on Instagram as the description with the tags at the bottom. I was thinking of a way of doing that, of repurposing that. I haven't dug too deep into that. Like, I thought about causing that to be the snippet, like the teaser that brings people in. But so far, I have the pools separated. So I've got YouTube, Facebook, and the blog. While they're all connected. What I end up doing is if you find me on YouTube, I have more YouTube videos shown to you. If you find me on Facebook, I have more Facebook videos shown to you. And when you see me on a blog, I just show you more blog posts. But what connects it all is the blog. It's the base. It's a place everyone can come back to. And then it's on Facebook. I'll create a playlist for the 1-minute video. And I call that Season 2 Short Clips. I have a short clips on YouTube as well. And I have the transcription of the 1-minute video in Facebook. But I'm not using that on YouTube though, I just realized. I just have the video put up there. I've kept all the links though. So for every time I make a video, I'm actually pumping out 4 videos. Now 2 of them are on Facebook and 2 of them are on YouTube. I said that wrong. There's the long form and the short form. When it comes to the long form, I have 1 long form on Facebook and YouTube and 1 short form on Facebook and YouTube. I've grabbed both of those URLs and then I add that to the master list that I save in Google, which also then has the transcription saved and updated, which also has the snippet for the blog and the header and the footer and all the links. And then every day, the flow with the Integromat goes through and checks, does anything get updated? Yes. And then it grabs all that snippet and compiles it so that as more days go on, it'll go through and update itself. I just have to keep filling out that form. Wow, that was a long explanation for how I'm doing what I'm doing. I have a lot of fun with it though. I really enjoy it. It's taken me a long time to kind of figure out the flow. I had somebody the other day, I was talking with him and he was like, "You make this look so easy." I'm like, what I just described to you is way more in depth than I probably wouldn't have shared that with the main folk, but I haven't made a video yet for Patreon, so I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna do a data dump, share what's going on, how things are holding up. I'm doing really good though. I'm having fun. I'm working on mental health stuff, like enhancing the mental health side of things, skill sets. And so while I'm learning about it, I'm really enjoying taking the pressure off as I work through other ideas and how to make it better, easier, faster. But thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate that. In the meantime, I'm going to get going because I got to fire up the show here pretty quick. All right, you take care. Have fun.